Hi, third grade teachers, and welcome to the Week 2 Language Arts and Social Studies walkthrough. We're going to start on the main page here. Our topic is still community and building community. You'll see in social studies this week that you're taking more of a look at what is social studies in general, exploring the 5 strands: history and culture, civics and government, economics and geography, and then you have a connection activity. In reading, we're going to be starting to think about character and reading a text from HMH, Marisol McDonald Doesn't Match. And in writing, we're going to continue looking at the writing workshop and Exploding a Moment, and starting a project about what my city means to me, connecting personal narrative to community. So let's walk through the social studies lessons. Social studies starts off with an engagement where we're thinking about what social studies is and what we think about that. Students will then respond in a discussion board. Then the next couple of lessons are mini lessons and activities based on the 5 strands of social studies. So first, students will engage in a play pause it video about the 5 strands of social studies. Remember that for these to work for your students, you will need to preview them once at least as you come to them. Students will also be using a social studies notebook to collect the information from these lessons. So that'll be something you'll want to set up with students. So the first one they're going to go to is history and culture. So there is a virtual history center tour, and there's a lot of other choices for students to engage with about exploring our local community, and then to respond in their notebooks. The next part they're going to explore is civics and government. So they'll think about these images and then think about how government influences our lives. And then we'll explore economics and geography. So there's an economics video and another little video, introduction to geography. And again, to respond in the discussion board. Then they'll bring it all together and think about who you know that is engaged in social studies work, or how do these activities support the community. And an exit ticket. Again, like the other ones, these are more of reflection exit tickets. This one just has one question. What are the 5 strands of social studies? Oh, I'm sorry. The questions are on individual pages. So what are the 5 strands of social studies? What strands do you want to know more about and why? What was your favorite part of the learning this week and why? And in the quiz, you can change that so that all the questions are on the same page if you want. Then moving over to reading, they'll be thinking about character and identifying the major and minor characters in the story. So they have a short video to watch using the book Know David and thinking about who the characters are in that story. Continuing on with character, there's an anchor chart for them to look through and a video lesson. This video lesson is pretty long and includes 2 different read alouds inside of it. Then students will be asked to think about looking at character in a reading that they're going to do on their own. So thinking about all the elements of character, of the major and minor characters. This HMH is embedded in the Blend module, so they'll see it right as they come to it, and then they'll be able to click in, and also they'll be able to play any of the audio.
My name is Marisol McDonald.
They can also turn on the read-along highlighting or see it as a single page, or zoom in or out. So those are nice features that are included in there when you include the HMH in it. After reading Marisol McDonald Doesn't Match, students are invited to write about the characters using the same sentence stems we used before. There's an example included of a good post, and then they go respond in the discussion board about character. For independent reading, students will choose their own book with a focus on character and then respond in the discussion board, similarly to the Marisol McDonald, only this time they get to choose their own text. Of course, a timer has been provided for them. Small group, for you to put down your information for small group, and then a reflection quiz. What are some ways you thought about character this week? How do you feel about your learning this week? And what questions do you still have about the learning? So again, just a really simple quiz to get them thinking. All right, then jumping into writing, the focus is on looking at small moments this week. So we really want students to identify their writer's voice and the tools that writers use to show expression, and really thinking about those small moments. So if they've got a video, this is kind of a fun video. It's like a slow-mo video of things happening in slow motion so that students can think about those small moments and get engaged with that. Continuing on, then they'll pick their own small moment. This is a video lesson with Barry Lane. If you would prefer to conduct this lesson on your own and create your own video, that would be really engaging for your students. Then what we're going to have students do after they've done this engagement with small moments is to think about what my city means to me. They've been doing a lot of work about community and thinking about themselves and their own school community. So then thinking about, they want them to then think about how these ideas relate to your city. So what does your city mean to me? What do you love about your city? Where do you like to go? What do you cherish most? This is kind of a combination of personal narrative and community. And there are timers included for them to have some stop points of what they're working on for this little free write. And then they're invited to look at that writing again and pick a point in it that you could explode a moment and stretch that moment out and write on it for 20 minutes. So one part of their what my city means to me. When you meet with small groups in writing this week, you would really want to go through those explode the moments and see how students are doing with stretching those out and adding details and their writer's voice. And then in the quiz, it is what is important to remember about exploding the moment? How do you feel about your learning this week? And what questions do you still have about the learning? So that takes us through the main content for social studies, reading, and writing for week 2. Then just like the previous week, there are may-do activities that have been included for you, which you can add to or take out. It is simple sentences for grammar. There's a fluency activity, spelling short vowels, and also looking at vocabulary prefixes, miss and un. So there you go. Have a great time learning.